You guys, welcome to our Sunday Strength. Um, I'm live in a couple of different places today. One is for our Shine campus. Uh, Two will be for our, um, and then on YouTube and also on um, Facebook. So we actually got after this a couple of different ways today. I hope everybody's having a good day. And let's see if we can give you guys something that you could leave here with just to build on strength for the week. So let's start out with I have some shirts that I want to show you guys. If you want one, just let me know. Um, you can send me a message. I have it actually in two different colors. So I have it in black and in white, but I'm just going to show you the black one. So this is the women's cut, and then there's another a men's cut as well, and I'll show that to you. Um, so yeah, so we have some I am shirts coming for the Shine campus. Got the castle and the sunshine. Pretty excited about those shirts. I'll be using those shirts coming up this week in our. I'll be using those shirts this week in our inside of our Thriving Couples, which is the next announcement. So this for the rest of this month on Wednesdays, we will be having we have some speakers coming in, some presenters coming in to discuss um, some different relationship topics. So I'm excited about that. So we're putting it on the registration information. I've been posting all of that. So if you look on any of my social media, if you look in our Shine campus, it's all there. And so registration for that free Wednesdays at 3:30 to 4:30, you'll be able to um, help your relationship by learning more about it. Really learning more about what's going on and just different kinds of outcomes that or different kind of help points. And we have so 15 possibilities of speakers. We might even have more coming in as time goes on, but right now it's lined up so that 15 different speakers will help you with either intimacy, communication, or finances. So I'm excited for you guys to all have that. Um, so just so you guys know, on my YouTube, I believe that you can comment. I don't think on Facebook you can comment. So if you guys are having, if you're wanting to comment or have some questions for me, make sure you hop over to the YouTube um, live. All right. So then what's going on around Shine Campus? We still have a couples group. We have some openings for our couples group. Um, we actually have a power couple challenge that's coming up in a couple of weeks, August 14th. So we're excited about that. Um, and um, so that's going on actually at the same time that we'll be having our our free summit. So all of that's happening around Shine Campus. I'm super excited for you guys to have the information and just kind of grow your lives and get to where you need to get to. Um, so then the last thing that I have, and this is mostly just for law enforcement workers, people who are around law enforcement. It's what we call the Thrive Plan, and basically it's to help eliminate anxiety out of your life and help you to get to a different spot. So, um, if you want more information on that, please message me and let me know, and we can get you set up to start in that Thrive Plan. All right. So, what's the topic for today? The topic for today is um, we're going to talk about love, basically. Um, so, there's two things. I think the starting out point is there ends up being a cycle that happens, and I'll tell you what the way we can look at it. Like, so one person isn't able to provide love, and that creates an insecurity for the next person, who then again, then in turn isn't able to provide love, and we just kind of keep a cycle going like that. Well, there's this situation that I think is really important. So as a husband, what I think um, husbands will have to recognize is that what we need to do, instead of like the stonewalling and the neglect or the busyness or the time away or the sharpness, it has to turn into something else. Like it needs to look more like what loving things are. And so, whatever that is, it can't be a feeling, because I think what's happening a lot of times when I'm meeting with people, there's no doubt in my mind that the husband loves the wife, right? Like there's no doubt in my mind that there's love even in the relationship. Um, but what I do see is the missing thing is there's not a love in action, right? So love needs to become a verb for you. And if love becomes a verb, everything changes, because it's those interactions or those feelings that help to develop security. Well, if we're not able to love in action as partners, we start creating an insecurity feeling that ends in a disrespect from your partner. So then the wife feels unloved, and that creates that fear scenario. And then as that happens, that fear scenario starts generating a disrespect. And as men, the important thing for men a lot of times, and there's a difference in approach to how we're loving, right? As men, what happens is we tend to need more respect or honor in those scenarios. The hardest thing is if the cycle goes where somebody's not showing or doing the love actions, and then somebody's not being respectful or honoring, then um, everybody gets shook up, and it creates a cycle of not doing versus of doing. So the switchover has to be that um, we generate a feeling of love in action, and then honor or respect in interaction as well. And so how do we do that? Well, you think about like me and my wife were actually having the conversation around this topic, and you think about like the pursuit of of championships, or for me at least, I happen to be a coach as well. For people who don't know me, but the pursuit of like winning and competition and those kinds of things. And in those kinds of scenarios, even if you're not necessarily into sports directly, the idea of competition and those things are felt for us. And so, what's needed? Well, what's needed is honor. What's needed is respect. And if those things don't happen, well, then there's this sense of either seeking that scenario or this sense of not being loving. All right. So, in a simple terms, the woman needs to be able to respect the husband, and or the wife needs to be able to respect the husband, and the husband needs to be able to do love and actions for the wife. All right. So that's a simple way of putting it, but I think the word, at least for me, and this might not be for everybody, the word that kind of trips me up in there, and it might just be like what I know about this world and how they're misusing it, but the word respect trips me up. So it trips me up because I don't like the idea of hierarchy, as far as like dominating one person. I believe in hierarchies, but I feel like nobody should be less important than the other. And respect seems to me like initially seems to me like somebody's less than the other. And I don't want to think of it that way. And so I want everybody else who's listening to this too to kind of think of it different as well. We're talking about respect here, but we're not talking about respect because you're less than. We're talking about respect because that's what's needed, right? So I want to think of respect as like an equivalent of love. It's just a way of doing love, right? So um, the more we honor that person or admire that person, and those are two words to me that come out of respect, the more we're able to do that, then everything kind of changes in our relationship. Imagine if you get a wheel of this going on where there's love in actions, there's respect, honor, honor, or being able to think highly of or admire um, the husband. Like, imagine if that's the will, right? If that's the will, well, everything changes. Everything changes because now we're not creating for each other this sense of I'm not good enough. We're not creating for each other this sense of I'm longing for something. Everything changes if we can think of it different. And so they are both forms. If either we're using the word love or respect, they are both forms of loving. But I need to know what I need to be doing directly for my partner. Okay, so what are the hangups on here? Well, here's some hangups. One of the hangups might be like, um, well, what what am I doing to not be respectable, right? And so this is an important question because as much as we're saying like one partner needs to do something and the other partner needs to do something else, I'm not a fan of waiting for somebody to do something else. I, for myself, have to put myself in a position where I am respectable, right? So if I'm the husband and I'm asking for respect, I'm going to put myself in a situation where it's easy to respect me, right? If I don't interact in a respectable way, if I'm not doing the things that I want to do in life or that I need to be doing in life to be respected, it's going to be hard for somebody to respect me. So, and then the flip is true too. Am I doing things, if I'm the wife, am I doing things that are lovable? Right. And so now we have two different angles, and I'd much rather pursue that angle. So, what I mean by that is I want to pursue the angle that says, one is I'm going to do things that are respectable. So it's easy to respect me. And then two, I'm going to do things that are lovable in interaction in action, right? So if we're approaching it that way, where we're focused on what we're doing, the mandate isn't there's not, to me, there's not three things to do. There's only two things to do, right? So I'm being respectable and I am doing love in actions, but I'm not waiting for somebody else to do the next thing. So we don't have the third thing. And the more that you can focus on doing those two things, it starts creating a different kind of environment for you if you're able to think more about what it is that you're doing and how you're approaching that situation. Okay. So the challenge is on, really. The challenge is on to put this inside of your relationship. And really, you can look at any relationship that you are working in or working at and start to try to implement being those two things. Like, if we could implement those scenarios as much as possible, you're going to create some goodness in your life. So, all right, you guys. Man, that is our conversation for today. I hope that it blesses you and serves you. Um, I know the thought process for me is a growing one, and I think it's helpful. Tune in this week on Wednesdays. We'll be on Facebook with three different conversations. Not only this week, but for the rest of August. And those conversations too, to me, will give you all kinds of goodness. So I can't wait for you guys to have it. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.